This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
CBD is a game changer sweeping the nation. This hemp extract is the natural way to elevate your mood, eliminate aches and pains, reduce anxiety, and keep you sleeping all night long. It can even cut your workout recovery time in half. Get in the game today with 20% off all orders of CBD and lavender products from Lavender Lane, a lavender farm located right here in Milan, Michigan. Just go to lavenderlanemi.com today and enter coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your entire order. Guys, look, these amazing products are infused with calming lavender to maximize their effectiveness, meaning your CBD items only take minutes to take effect, which is way quicker than those pills you were about to swallow. On top of it, they are perfect for men and women. Lavender Lane has lab-tested CBD creams, tinctures, and roll-ons that are perfect for any situation, even if you're on the go. Put your health back in your hands by heading over to lavenderlanemi.com and entering coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your entire order of CBD and lavender products. What do you have to lose? Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So if you need lavender gifts for your loved ones or just looking for the natural way to ease your discomfort with CBD, go to lavenderlanemi.com and use coupon code DETROIT to unlock these miraculous benefits of CBD and lavender. That's lavenderlanemi.com. And remember, use coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your CBD and lavender products from Michigan's own Lavender Lane.
What's up, Detroit sports fans? Welcome back to the Fan Reporter Show, made by fans, for fans, powered by the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. I'm Nick, and sitting right across from me is a fresh and 5 pounds heavier from the Thanksgiving weekend, Andrew.
Yes, sir. Thanksgiving was good to me, my friend. And sadly, it's over. And as per tradition, the Lions lost. I mean, they played a nationally televised game. The Pistons had their ups and downs, and we're going to try to make Detroit sports entertaining again. It's a Fan Report.
Oh, boy, that's a tall order. You want to talk about solving problems in today's world? Well, I'd put that up on the top of the list next to world peace. Yikes.
I don't know if the rest of the world cares about Detroit. Maybe the top of it is like Detroit peace.
No, I'm talking in terms of like how difficult it is. That's what I'm referring to, is how difficult it is to make Detroit sports entertaining again right now. Where do you want to start? I mean, do you want to talk about the game? Do you want to talk about upcoming games? Do you want to talk about...
I was actually at the game, surprisingly.
Were you?
I wasn't expecting to be I wasn't planning to be at the game. I woke up. Well, I didn't know. This was actually before I went to bed Wednesday night.
So who paid you to go? Because you couldn't pay me enough to go.
Technically, I was paid for to go.
But they didn't actually pay you to go.
I was paid in beer.
Fair. All right. That's good enough.
No, I got a call from one of my cousins on Wednesday night saying, "I got 4 tickets to the Lions game. I'm trying to get some of the cousins to go if you want to come." I'm like, I got nothing else Thursday morning before Thanksgiving, so let's run it. Our Thanksgiving dinner's not till 4, so
fair.
We'll be half an hour late. Big deal.
Fair.
So we went, me and a few of my cousins, and it was. I mean, first of all, I want to know what possesses a man to dress up as an entire turkey. At the line, like people walk on the front like they're Carlton wearing the peacock outfit in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but as a turkey.
Lunacy, absolute lunacy.
I want to follow these people home and see what they do the rest of like what do they do with their lives, what do they do with their day. Like I don't understand it. I don't think I'll ever understand
They're
it.
absolutely insane.
I thought wearing turkey because there's a lot of turkey hats. I thought
that's pretty common.
I know, but I thought
I feel like don't the Lions like give those out? I feel like they give those out.
We weren't giving any if they do.
Well, I mean, were you one of the first like 10,000 fans, or do they do that kind of thing?
No, we showed up just in time for kickoff.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you for not wanting to waste any more time in that
Here's
building.
one thing. Actually, I found this interesting because this is the first time I've ever been at like the concessions bar area, whatever, for the national anthem. And so the anthem started playing. And I'm like turning around like this, and like we'd ordered our drinks. Like I turned back and I'm like, why is no one behind the bar moving? I'm like, oh yeah, that's it.
I mean, they're literally told to stop.
Well, they'd stopped. There was another place that had like food and drinks. I can't remember the name of it. Like across the hallway, they were still going. They were just running back and forth.
As far as I know, they're told to stop.
I agree with them stop. Like yeah, and then Because at one point, one of the bartenders started like making it. He's like, "Stop it!" He's like this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're told to stop serving and doing things while the national anthem is playing.
Like, I'd never thought that, because that was the first time I've ever been like in line for a drink or a concession.
Right. Normally, I'm at my seat.
Yeah,
like a good American.
We haven't even gotten to our seats yet. But no, the game itself, like, it's a Thanksgiving game. It's going to be packed. I'm sitting there questioning why everyone's so excited.
Packed?
Yeah, it was packed.
Wow, I'm shocked.
It was funny.
This was supposed to be the quote unquote boycott game. It was a nationally televised game to make the Lions and the ownership group look bad, and everybody shows up. Way to go, guys!
It was packed. Going into the stadium, because there's a line to get in, like with the ticketing and all that.
That's normal.
Yeah,
it's, 60,000 seat stadium.
So at first, lady's telling us there's lines on both sides, to the left and right. So we're like, all right, left doesn't look as long, so it's at the left. We go to the left. We're sitting there for about 5 minutes. Hey, and then our security guard comes up. It's like, hey, the line starts that way. This lady told us it was both sides. Like, this entire line migrated over. So we all go to the back of that line, and we're going. And then all of a sudden, this family, about like 5 minutes in, this family comes in, and like the line stretches maybe like 25 people behind us. Mm-hmm. But like it comes around a curve. So, and we're like right at that curve. So a family comes in, instead of going around the curve, they walk like right up to our area. And this like dad who was with his wife and like his like teenage son, he got like pissed. Like, hey, the line starts over there, you gotta go to the back of the line, you cannot cut. And then one of my like me and my cousins were like, no, they're with us, they're part of our group. And then my cousin's like, happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Some people are just miserable people.
Yeah.
How's that? Just out of curiosity, how many times do you almost knocked that light over? Making hand motions on the show.
Range of motion just about hits it. So, yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Probably quite a few
times. Never really
times.
noticed.
I like how when I tell your ass to turn it on during the show because you forget, you like bring it into frame.
Oh, yeah, I mess with it.
I know you do.
I love doing it. One time I tried to turn it on without using my hands. That was fun. You don't remember this?
What the?
I used my foot.
What the hell did you try
I used
to
my
use?
foot and I got it down to my chest and I
Don't
pushed
put your feet on my lamps.
No, I kicked it down and I grabbed with my chest. I tried to hit it with my chin. Like it wasn't. You don't remember this? It was like a whole thing on the show.
No, I don't.
It lasted for like a whole 2 minutes.
I probably was not paying attention, to be completely honest with you. I was probably doing something
The
else.
chat was loving it. Anyway, back to the Lions game.
Yikes.
So, but no, yeah, what really perplexed me was the crowd was really, at least for the first quarter, it felt like the crowd was really rowdy, really into it, and then the second quarter comes, and the Bears crew starts drowning out the Lions fans.
I mean, I'm not surprised that the Lions fans at least start hyped up.
Yeah.
Like, they always do. Lions have a good fan base. There's no doubt. I mean, you have to. If you've had lack of success for 30 years and yet people are still showing up to your games, you have to have a good fan base at that point.
So our seats were, so to give you a little visual, our seats were about 15 rows up, 40-yard line. Around second quarter, we start hearing "Let's Go Bears" chants to the right of us, like in the back, like behind the end zone. And like they were pretty loud, but all come from that side. Like, oh, so all the Bears fans come together and just sit over there, and they're really loud. And then third quarter comes around, we started "Let's Go Bears" chants come from the other side, back of the end zone. By the fourth quarter, for like half the stadium was "Let's Go Bears" chants. And whenever they got a big play or they scored a touchdown, like it got loud in there. Like
Out of curiosity, what were your thoughts about David Blau?
I'll be honest with you. Going in, so we have a buddy from Purdue, and when I told him, he was like, "Oh, he was going to get the start." He's like, "Oh, good luck." And I'm like, "If he sucks, it's your head." I did not have high hopes going in, but and his first pass was a disaster. His first pass was about 9 yards short of the receiver.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh God." But then from there, once he hit Galley for a 75-yard touchdown, I felt like he got a little more comfortable because coming in that second drive, he looked very comfortable in the pocket, a really good pocket presence, really great awareness. He was hitting receivers in stride. His balls were mostly on the money. There were quite a few drops there too. But I think what impressed me the most of them was his comfortableness in the pocket, his pocket awareness. He was dodging edge rushers left and right. Like he knew exactly when to step up. So he had eyes in the back of his head. Like I was really impressed with his pocket presence, and his accuracy was, for the most part, on point. So
I'm going to disagree with you. I wasn't all that impressed with him, to be completely honest with you. he would look a lot worse if it weren't for a complete and total blown coverage on a 75-yard touchdown in the second play of the game. Like, it would be a totally different game if it weren't for a
reference that 75-yard touchdown. That wasn't what I was referencing. I was just saying I liked how he looked.
If it weren't for a wide the hell open Kenny Galladay because of terrible defensive coverage by the Bears, he would not look that good. The numbers would not be very impressive at all. And frankly, from what I watched, I saw a lot of missed throws, a lot of poorly timed throws. Sure, he did have some solid pocket presence at times, but he also, had a little bit of happy feet at times. I mean, he looked like a third-string quarterback to me. In no way would I feel confident with him as my backup quarterback going into any season.
It was better than Joe Driscoll to me.
I thought actually Driscoll looked a little bit better than David Blau, to be completely honest with you. I thought Driscoll was a lot more mobile. I think he's a little bit more of a dynamic player.
And then the one interception he threw was a forced throw at the end of the game because it was fourth down.
I didn't see anything that David Blau did to say, hey, you know what, I'd be comfortable with this dude being a backup quarterback on my team. He's a third string practice squad quarterback in 100% of the way in my eyes, and he's nothing better than that. Nothing he did impressed me all that much. The most impressive thing he did in my eyes was the 75-yard touchdown to Kenny Galladay, which you can say thank you to the Bears for gift drafting that to him. So, because he did hit him, he still got to hit him, but it was gift wrapped to him and thrown in his lap. So, I would rather him not be our backup quarterback going into next season. I would rather have a legitimate backup quarterback going into next season. I feel like that's one of the biggest problems that the Lions have right now is look at some of these other teams out there, and namely the Panthers, the Jaguars, you can even throw the Steelers out there if you want. The Saints are a good example. All those teams were able to fight and stay alive with backup quarterbacks. Lions have not been able to, and it's obvious by that. And they have had now 7 quarterbacks on their roster this season, and one of which was any good. The rest of them, nothing to write home about. Nothing at all.
They just signed another one after putting Driscoll in IR. I can't remember the guy's name, but they signed him off the Cardinals practice squad, I believe.
And that's frankly just an emergency backup situation. Yeah. I'm curious as to why Driscoll's on IR, but Stafford's not.
I've never seen someone be put on IR for a hamstring.
Well, there's 3 weeks left in the year, and they want the roster spot. They can't play him. So, and if they don't IR him, I know. That's why. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, they can't play him because he's not healthy, and they need the roster spot.
I hope they're not planning on playing. They did say they want to. There's a chance Stafford comes back. I hope they're not planning on playing Stafford.
I hope so too. I would rather them IR him for all I care. Shut him down for the year. I think the only reason he's not IR'd is because Stafford himself refuses it. Yeah. I've heard nothing but the dude's been maniacal about getting back on the football field this year, and I'd be kind of pissed off with Patricia and Quinn if they were to do that.
I did love seeing how Stafford was coaching up David on the sidelines.
That's his job.
No, like he was getting really animated. Like, I was loving it.
That's his damn job. Name me a starting quarterback in the NFL that doesn't do that when his backup's in there. If you want to name me, if you can find me a legitimate starting quarterback, I'm not going to praise him for it. That's his damn job. Why would you praise him for doing what every other quarterback in the league does?
Yeah, but like I'm not saying that it's not his job. I'm just saying I love how animated he was getting. Like
they all do.
He was getting real into it. Like,
they all do. That's their job. They're supposed to get in their face and say, "Look, you screwed up. Fix it. Be better. You're better than this." That's their damn job. When they're not in the game, they got to fire up the guy who's taking their place. That's their job. Name me a starting quarterback in the NFL when they go down that doesn't do that, and I'll show you a guy who shouldn't be in the damn league. That's what he's supposed to do. Rodgers does it, or did it when he was down. Breeze did it for Bridgewater in his face, telling him, look, you got to do this, not that. You got, coaching him. That's what they're supposed to do. I'm not going to praise a man for doing that. That's his job.
I know, but what I'm trying to get at, it's like he's happy. Like
what? He cares? Good.
No, I'm saying
he's supposed to. We pay him $30 million.
I just don't want to give off the impression.
A year.
I don't want to give off the impression that he's pouting because he's not going to play. Like he's really embracing the coaching role.
All I've heard is that he's been. He should be. All right, he should be. All I've heard is that he's been maniacal about getting back on the football field. Which, dude, like I said last week, go spend time with your family. Get away from football for a bit, okay? We need you healthy next year. We don't need you getting back on the field this year and hurting yourself even more than going into the offseason hurt and then coming into camp hurt like you did this year. Relax. Go away. And then come back next year.
By the way, the finalists have been named for the NFL all-time team.
Okay. It's Barry on it?
We have a Lions player named.
Barry. It's probably actually like Lem Barney or someone.
No. It's a punter. Yale Larry, punter from 1952 to 53 and from 56 to 64.
So he's our last NFL champion.
I mean, those are special teams finalists. I don't know if they knew other positions, but
You really cut into that conversation to talk about special teams all-time greats.
The notification just got to my phone.
Oh,
So
wonderful. Great. That's that's how you know how slow Detroit sports is right now, all right? You got Andrew over here talking special teams all-time team. Like, really? Who cares? I'll be honest with you. I struggled to even remember who this dude is. I never saw him play. I was like,
way before our time.
Exactly. I've never heard anybody talk about the punter from 1957. What a great show. Oh, man.
What a punter. All-timer.
Show me one highlight.
Those punts,
I dare you to show me one highlight. Please.
You'll have to look up Yale Larry.
I'd be shocked if there was any. I'm kind of curious. Who the hell's making the list for the guys like that? That have probably zero documented highlights.
I don't know. But he was our third-round pick in 1952.
They spent a third-round pick in 1952 on a punter?
Yep.
God, clearly the organization's always been bad.
Yep. How many rounds does the draft in 1952?
I have no idea. Didn't they used to have like 20 rounds all of like 20 years ago?
They did. How many rounds was the NFL draft?
Jeez. You're going to tell me we had 20 rounds and we drafted a punter in the third?
All right, here we go. You ready? Here's Wikipedia, 1952 NFL draft. I'm going to give you an over-under. You ready?
Yep.
Over-under 20.
Over. 27's my guess.
You're not far off. 30 rounds.
And we drafted a punter in the third? Oh, my God. I like how we're talking 1952 Lions.
It's a slow week. What do you want from me? All right?
Slow week, slow year. Help me, please.
A 30-round, that is...
Can you imagine?
Imagine doing the scouting for a 30-round draft.
Imagine doing a live show for it.
Then again, how many teams were there in 52? That's
I don't
another
know.
thing.
Does it matter? You still don't need 30 rounds.
How many selections in the draft normally right now?
I don't know. 7
Isn't it
rounds
like
times 32 teams.
220. Isn't it 225? I thought it was something
I don't know. Is it? Are the Lions tanking for a draft pick at this point? Should they?
They're not, they are within striking distance of a top 3 pick.
I know they are. I know. I've been
So
seeing
it's about 100 more selections. Is what it equals.
I've been seeing a ton of hype. That's a lot of picks.
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing a ton of hype about Chase Young being the guy the Lions are targeting.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you, as exciting as Chase Young would be, because he's a fantastic player and he would help this pass rush immensely. Stafford ain't no spring chicken, and he isn't going to get any cheaper. Kind of want him to draft a quarterback in the first round. Is that crazy to say?
It's not crazy. Right now, I definitely want to take a quarterback. I need to do
Okay,
more
but let's be
research.
real.
Let me
What
finish.
quarterreacts are worth it outside the first round in 2019?
No, I know. I need to do more research.
Let's be real.
That's why I want to know. I need to do my research on the field. I don't really.
This is one of the best quarterback classes we've had in decades.
That's why I want to do my research, because I don't know, because I know the top end quarterbacks. I want to know how deep this actually runs.
It's not.
That's what
it's never. There's no quarterback draft that's deep. Okay, you might get lucky.
You just said it was one of the best in decades.
In the top end. That's what I'm referring to. The first round quarterbacks are fantastic. Beyond that, who gives a shit? None of them are ever any good except for one guy in 3 years? And the Lions are never that lucky. Let's be honest. They're never going to find the Patty Mahomes that was a second or third round pick, or the Gardner Minshew that was a third round pick, and he's not even that good. They're never going to find that guy. If you're the Lions, you got to take your quarterback in the top end of the draft so you know what you're getting at that point, and hope you did your scouting right, because they blew up on that before too.
So standing at 3-1, Lions are tied with the Cardinals. They're officially if the draft were to be today, they would have the 7th overall pick.
There's that many teams that are that bad in the NFL.
Yeah, the Cardinals
Woof.
I think have the tiebreaker with them. They're ranked below them. I guess they have the 6. But then you have 3-3-9 teams. Or 3-1. You have 3-3-9 teams. The Falcons, Dolphins, Redskins. Both the Dolphins and Redskins won this week. Thank God.
Philly fans should be pissed. Embarrassed.
So if we are, and that takes you right. If you can be worse than those teams, those 3-9 teams, there's only 2 teams worse than that, which is which are a 2-win team and a 1-win team, which is the Bengals and the Giants. So if you can suck for a little while longer,
if you can suck,
and hope those 3-9 teams pick up a win, you are within striking distance of a top 3 pick. You're very realistically in range of a top 5 pick if you can lose out.
Oh, I won't disagree with that at all.
I know people don't like to hear, let's root for our team to lose, but I'm
in reality,
fully on board.
I see if there was a team that was losing to get a player, the only position that would make any sense to do that is a quarterback.
Yeah.
Frankly, because why would you lose just for a defensive end that really doesn't make your team all around all that better? Sure, it makes your pass rush better, but your secondary still sucks. Your linebacking core still sucks. Your quarterback or your offense still sucks in a lot of situations. Still can't run the football. Still can't block for your quarterback. Still can't block for the run game. You still don't have enough pass catchers. So what the hell's the point?
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying if the Lions are going to do this right, they need to tank for a quarterback.
Yeah.
They need to go grab themselves if Tua's healthy. They need to grab Joe Burrow, who looks amazing, by the way. That dude looks legit. They need to grab a Justin Herbert, whatever his name is, from Oregon. They need to grab one of these guys that's the top-end talent at the quarterback position and do something with it. Let him groom behind Stafford for a little bit.
Yeah.
Stafford's not getting any younger, and he's certainly not getting any healthier. This is the second straight year where he's had a broken back. Supposedly a different injury, too. Once your back starts to go, that's kind of a quick, slippery slope downhill. Real quick.
So the teams are ahead of you right now in the draft.
Are real bad.
Majority of them, you can almost bet your ass you're going to try to take. Cincinnati, I bet you can try to take quarterback. They're pretty much done with any Dalton.
Yep.
Giants, it's debatable. They just drafted Daniel Jones last year. It's
Highly doubt they'll take quarterback.
Washington Redskins, also debatable, but I think they're more likely than the Giants to take a quarterback.
I would agree. I actually don't count the Giants from taking a quarterback. A lot of people in that front office are starting to second guess Daniel Jones.
Yeah, you don't think they're right second guessing Dwayne Haskins?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think they both are threats to take quarterback.
Dolphins for sure are taking the quarterback.
For sure are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Falcons, you can argue it. Matt Ryan's 4 years old and Stafford. He's 35.
Yeah,
He'll be 35
you can definitely argue
next season. So you could definitely see him taking quarterback there. They could not. Cardinals won't take quarterback. They got Kyler Murray. But but you can argue that at least 3 teams in front of you may be taking a quarterback.
I would think probably
at least
more
three
than 3
teams in the top 5.
I mean,
so if you want a shot at one of the elite guys, you need to get in that top 5.
The likely number 1 pick, from what I've heard, is obviously Joe Burrow from LSU. So that's probably who Cincy ends up with. That's kind of the obvious part. Excuse me. Behind that is where things start to get a little murky on which quarterback goes where. I think the Giants, because of the presence of Daniel Jones, they may look more towards a guy like Chase Young, who would be a good fit there and give them a much-needed position as well. And then you look at the Dolphins probably going after a guy like Justin Herbert or someone in that range. The Redskins, depending on their faith in Dwayne Haskins, is the big wild card because there is a big there are some offensive linemen. There's Jerry Jeudy, obviously, because they do need pass catchers as well. So there are other positions that you can look at as being, if they believe in Dwayne Haskins as their guy, which is entirely possible and plausible. I actually believe that they do have some faith in Dwayne Haskins to develop into a quarterback. I do think that the Falcons hold off another year because I think that's a team that believes that they're not that far away still from a playoff spot, even though their record says otherwise. I just feel like they've had a mixture of things go wrong for them this year, and they need to improve in that regard. And then you look at the Lions at the pick behind them. So I think there is some possibilities where you could end up with a quarterback at the top end of this draft, but who knows if they're going that route? I don't know. If we're going to do this, I want to do this right. Yeah. If you're going to tank for a draft pick and try to get into that top 5, do it right. Because otherwise, what's the point? You're not one player away. So adding one guy like a Chase Young if he gets to you, or a Jerry Jeudy if he gets to you, or whatever. Adding one guy is not going to change your team right now. You need so much more than that. You need another running back. You need your quarterback's not getting any younger. You need more depth along the O-line and the D-line, apparently. You need another linebacker that makes a difference. You need another guy in the secondary that makes a difference. Like, you're not one player away. And I don't think you're going to find that, that mixture of players that you need in free agency and this draft combined. Like, I don't think next year's the year the Lions can come out and say, hey, let's win this. Mm-hmm. I just don't. I don't believe that. Yeah. Based on what I've seen this year, you may end up with a coaching change, which reports are saying that he's coming back next year, but who knows? You may end up with a regime change in the front office, so who knows what happens in the offseason with this team. And if that's the case, that just kind of tells you where this team is at moving forward with all that uncertainty. How are we just one player away from being a contender? We're obviously not. So let's do this right. Let's build for the future. Is the quarterback we have now going to be a part of that? Probably not. Dude's 33 years old now? 32, 33?
31, well, 31, I think 32 when the season starts.
32 when the next season starts. And has had 2 straight years where he's had his season go to hell in a handbasket because of a broken back. Mm-hmm. Plus the multitude of other injuries he's had in his career. I mean, the dude's been beaten up. Is he tough as nails? Absolutely. Was he having a great year? 100%. Do I still think he's got something left in the tank? Oh, yeah. We saw it this year. Mm-hmm. But once your back starts to go, you're in trouble. Mm-hmm. And frankly, at this point, as much as I'd like Stafford to be the guy for us, if we're not ready to win within the next 2 years, which I don't think we are, trade him. Get what you can for him while you can, because I'll tell you right now, his contract ain't going to be pretty when you have to re-sign him.
Yeah.
So at that point, may want to look at some other options. Mm-hmm. Just may.
Let's pivot to the Pistons real quick. Similar conversation, though. The Pistons right now, we're basically at the quarter point of the season. They're a game and a half outside of the 8 seed. So a game and a half outside of the playoff conversation. They're also...
to face the Bucks in the first round again.
They're also a game and a half outside of bottom 5.
Mm-hmm. And they were bottom 5 as of before their wins against the Magic and the Spurs.
Quarter way down the season, you're at a crossroads here. You're coming off, as of this recording, they're coming off a trouncing of the San Antonio Spurs. LaMarcus Aldridge lists San Antonio Spurs, but still impressive that you were able to beat an NBA team by 34 points. Not name the Golden State Warriors G League team.
Right. The Pistons obviously had a very hot shooting night. Yeah. They had guys just hitting shots from outside all over the place. Luke Kennard had a great game. Christian Wood had probably the best game of his career.
Yeah.
You didn't have to rely on Blake and Andre all that much. It was nice to see other people contributing. We got,
how often do you see as a team shooting 60% from the field, almost 50% from 3?
Right. That doesn't ever happen, let alone this team.
Yeah.
So, and then to count, on the other side of that coin, you also had the Spurs shoot 40% from the field and 25% from 3.
Yep.
So, I mean, you kind of had a picture-perfect situation that probably isn't going to happen on your average night.
So, that's what I'm saying. How much you take this game into account in terms, because we're at a crossroads here. Do you think the Pistons should be feeding off this momentum and trying to string together some wins?
I think it's something to look at and saying, look, Christian Wood needs to be playing a lot more than Thon Maker.
True.
I still am worried with the fact that we are not able to fully rely on Blake Griffin.
And he did play, in their defense, he did play a lot more than Thon Maker.
He did. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this needs to be the norm, not an every other night thing. This needs to be the norm from here on out. We're still not able to rely on Blake Griffin as being the effective player that he was last year. We need we need that to come back, and he wasn't that in this game. Granted, we didn't need him to be, but at the same time, I don't think he played all that well. I think he shot well below 50%.
He doesn't play well in general, but he shot 4 for 12.
But if he's not at least 90% of what he was last year, this team isn't going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth of the matter because of the fact that, look, you had best case scenario with this team last year and what they had on that roster with the health of everybody for the most part and the level of play from Blake and Drummond and even Reggie in parts last season and Luke's big step up last season as well, and they still only ended up with an 8 seed and a borderline 500 team. I mean, I know we added pieces, but those pieces haven't all gelled yet. How long is it going to take? And then you also add in the fact that Blake's not the same. D Rose is, in and then out and then in and then out and also is somewhat inconsistent. Reggie Jackson is non-existent because he's hurt. And Andre Drummond is up and down. Has been more up and down lately than he started.
Yeah.
He started a lot hotter than he's been. So yeah, there is a level of concern. I'd like to think that this gives them a little bit of momentum and confidence, but there are some things you can still look at from that game that say, okay, this team's just not what we hoped they were going to be coming in. Do I think they can, be a team that can fight?
Close.
Right. And do I believe this team is a team that can fight and hang around? Yeah. I mean, if this team were to come into, the trade deadline and say, look, we're not that far out of this. We could be one move away from getting into the top 7 seeds. Let's do this.
Yeah.
But I would also be fine with them saying, okay, this year's not the year. Next year's probably not going to be the year because of this. Let's retool. Let's, kind of rebuild on the fly. We've got the pieces that we can move with your expiring deals, with the, Andre Drummond situation with his contract coming to an end, I believe, next season. You've got some movable pieces here. It just you have to be a little creative with it. And I like to think the Pistons front office can be. So if they're in that spot, maybe they say, all right, let's make some moves and let's live to fight another day. If that happens, I mean, either side of the coin, I'd be okay with it. I want to see a move happen. I want to see them make a decision here, not just ride the fence the rest of the way. I need them to make a decision at some point, before the deadline and say, all right, we're doing one of two things. I want to see an actual direction from this team moving forward. That's something that I felt like we've lacked as an organization over the last, 4 or 5 seasons now, where I felt like we've just lacked this direction of we're just going to skate the status quo as an in and out of the playoffs team just by a few games every single year. So I don't want to see them skate the status quo anymore. I want to see them make a decision and have a true direction of where we're going with this whole thing. Are we going to rebuild, or are we going to go for it and try to make something happen? I want to see something happen here.
And you got to beg the question, because you got to look at the prospects. If you did want to go full on rebuild, the prospects for this year, I mean, it's really been between James Wiseman and LaMelo Ball in terms of the top pick.
Well, you're not going to get that either way.
I know, but you have a shot. I don't think you're there, but someone who could be reachable is a guy like the point guard from North Carolina, Cole Anthony.
And you do need a new point guard, desperately.
But I was just curious, do you buy into the LaMelo Ball hype that's starting to rise up?
I mean, starting to rise up. Dude's been hyped up for years.
Yeah, but
there's got to be,
he's now starting to be hyped up as a top 5 prospect.
It's the old saying of where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
I do think the kid has a lot of talent. I really, really, really believe the kid is a legitimate NBA talented. He's got NBA talent. It's whether or not the media circus and the frenzy around him can stay away from his head, because. Yeah. I'll admit to it. I followed a little bit of the Ball in the Family kind of shenanigans that they went on. I watched a few of their episodes. It was made for some good, bedtime entertainment. We'll call it that. If there's one person in that family that I felt like the frenzy around them bothered him the most, it was LaMelo. I saw him sulk. And I know he was stupid young. I get that aspect. And, you hope he gets out of that. But You saw him sulk at times. You saw him quit on his team, and you saw him, kind of give up and allow the media and allow the hype and the frenzy to kind of bother him a little bit. And you can't have that in the NBA because it's always there, especially when you're involved in the family that you are and have the presence that you do. So there is some concern with that. But in terms of just raw talent and pure talent and what this kid can do and the potential there, absolutely. There's where there's smoke, there's fire. And this kid's got the talent. It's just whether or not he's able to put it together and keep his head straight and keep his head clear.
And I agree. I mean, I haven't seen outside just, highlight mixtapes. I haven't really seen much LaMelo Ball play. But,
I mean, dude puts up legit.
But mixtape highlights make everyone look insane.
They do. But I mean, the kid obviously is a very, very talented player.
He wouldn't be this highly touted right now if he wasn't. But that's where really lies here is, do you think this season, and I still have not done my analysis on the NBA draft pool because it's so far out, but as it comes down to as an GM, do you think this draft pool has a talent worth trying to bottom out for?
I think there's a lot of high-end talent in this draft, yes. Yeah. I do. I do think there is a lot of high-end talent. And also you got to remember, the pieces you move can lead to other things as well. I mean, we can. I know players don't like to sign here, but maybe you overpay to get a guy that you really want. Or, maybe you give some of these expiring deals to get a high-end draft pick or something,
Well, right now I find it hard to imagine there's even a market for Blake Griffin the way he's playing.
Oh, I would imagine there's not. He's going to have to turn his his season around quite a bit. But I mean, there's a market for a Reggie Jackson because of his expiring deal. There's a market for a Langston Galloway because of the mixture of the way he's playing and his expiring deal. There's a market for Andre Drummond. I mean, there's players out there that you can move and make things happen with. And you can get yourself, say you move a Reggie Jackson and Langston Galloway and get yourself a pick in around the 20 to 25 range. I doubt that's going to happen, but say you do. What if you package your pick and that pick in together and you move up into the top 5? Things like that can happen for you to make something, to get yourself the talent that you're looking for to try to launch a rebuild, because I think you have something with Luke Kennard. I think he's taken a step up not only last year but this year that makes him a legitimate scorer in the NBA and a legitimate player that you can rely on almost night in, night out. I think he's a legitimate player. Is he a number 1 or number 2 guy in any basketball team? No. But do I think he can be a number 3? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would be perfectly fine with him being our number 3 option in the future. Find a guy that can fill in that number 2 and maybe overpay for the number 1 or something. But you can make this happen if you're the Pistons here. You just got to make a decision on what direction you want to go.
And I'm very hard pressed to think that keep fighting is the best direction right now.
Honestly, I'll tell you right now, looking forward to the Pistons.
Man, do I sound like a negative Detroit sports fan? But I'm just.
I mean, there's not a lot to be positive about. Let's be real.
I'm trying to give. I
compared the making Detroit sports exciting to the difficulty to world peace. All right.
I'm trying to give everyone the quickest road to success here. I think the quickest road to success is just calling it like you see it.
Right. I mean, you have some young talent in Luke Kennard. We still don't know what Bruce Brown's going to be. That's the truth. But Sekou Doumbouya looks like he could be something. We don't know, obviously, but what else did we draft him for? So you have something to work with there. Let's build upon that and see if we can continue to build in that range. Your draft pick last year doesn't really lend itself to continue to keep the fight going. But looking for, I will tell you this right now: the Pistons' next 10 games will kind of be the decision maker, at least in my mind, of what direction I want the Pistons to go. I mean, we've got the Cavs, Bucks, Pacers, Pelicans, Mavericks, Rockets, Wizards, Raptors, Celtics. I don't know if that was 10, but I'm going to stop there. And then you got the Bulls, 76ers. So I'm going to stop there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those games are against teams that are currently in playoff spots in the East. I'm talking the Pacers, Bucks, Mavericks, or not in the East, but are in playoff spots. Pacers, Bucks, Mavericks, Raptors, Celtics, Sixers. All those teams are in playoff spots in the NBA. That's going to tell you where you are. And if you're not able to at least go 500 or a little bit better than 500, I think it's time to potentially make a decision to, one way and say, look, this team's not there. We need to look at potentially making some moves to rebuild. But maybe things start to gel and you make things happen. You hit a hot streak, then sure, let's talk about the other side of the coin. I'd be perfectly happy with that. I had high expectations for this team going into the season. They're just not living up to it right now.
I mean, we're already struggling to beat teams that are in our. I
mean, you lost to the Hornets 3 times. You've lost to the Bulls twice.
How? I don't know why we can't figure out how to beat the Hornets.
Because I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you why. Because you're every bit as good as they are, you just aren't as clutch.
Yeah.
You
all
are the
3 games
same team.
have been lost by combined 8 points.
You are the same team right now, in the here and right now.
7 points, actually.
You are every bit as good as the Hornets. A 9 or 10 seed in the Eastern Conference. That's what you are right now.
Yeah,
do you have more talent than that?
The first 2 teams outside looking in are the Hornets and Pistons.
Yes. You are every bit as good as they are, but slightly a little bit worse because they beat you when it counted. Do you have more talent than that? Absolutely. Yeah. You're just not putting it together. And your talent's not playing well. So that's where it is. But in the here and now, you are the Charlotte Hornets. Except a little bit worse. They beat you 3 times.
Yeah. More on the Pistons in future shows, but for now the front office has to make a decision where this team's at.
And I firmly believe the next 10 games will be the deciding factor, at least in my book.
Yep.
Anyways, guys, sorry to be Debbie Downers, but there's not a lot to be positive about. I mean, there were some things we were positive about. Not much.
I mean, we saw there's a lot of young talent rising in Detroit. I mean, I know we disagree on David Blau, but not Jonathan Williams. The Bo Scarborough looks pretty nice.
Is he young? I thought Bo Scarborough was like 30.
He's what, 26?
I thought he was like 30 something. Thought he was one of those journeyman like third string running backs in the league.
23 actually.
Oh,
Sorry.
he is young. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean,
He was in
I'll be honest with
Alabama
you.
like 2 years ago.
Okay. Anyways, though, guys, there is, some things to look at. I don't think David Blau is going to be here next year, I'll be honest with you. But anyways, thanks, guys, for listening. Check out our live show, www.twitch.tv/thefanreport. We'll be back next week with another episode, hopefully with some positive talking points. Who knows? We'll see. And we'll go from there. Hit us up on Twitter if there's any topics you want to talk about or if you have any questions for us. At Real Fan Report is how you can find us. Thank you guys for listening. Andrew, thank you for joining me. And thank you to Detroit Sports Podcast for always being the most wonderful network there out there. Check out all the other live shows. They're not live shows. Check out all the other podcasts that they drop. They got some good content that drops almost daily, if I recall. But anyways, guys, thank you again for listening. This has been the Fan Reporters. Bye, fans.
For fans.
We'll catch you guys next week.
That was a really depressed one. I'm sorry.
We'll catch you guys next
That was like
week.
a sigh, like, oh, fuck. For fans.
We couldn't make it the whole show, really? Oh, man. Well, there we go. But thank you guys again. Enjoy your week, and we'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one.
Peace.